Good afternoon, everybody. Time for another BrickBucks update. Once again, my name is Jim, and this is where we talk about Lego investing and reselling. So I've been looking forward to doing this video for a while. It took me a long time. It didn't take me a super long time, but in regards to preparation, this was one of my longest videos that I've had to put together. So I hope you enjoy it. But what we're doing today is we are going to audit the 2019 and the 2020 Lego retirement list. We're doing this because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that want to know how accurate these lists are. And as I've said in the past, I've had people that have asked me, how accurate are these retirement lists? And I've said to them, that's a good question. And I would give an arbitrary guess. I would say maybe, 80%, 85%. But I wanted to get down and have some sort of accurate answer because I may be able to trust the retirement set a little bit more, or I may be able to not trust it as much. So we're going to get into it. But before we do, I want to talk about the criteria and how I graded it. I did use Brickset as kind of a gospel of when a set retired. That right now is the number one resource that I'm familiar with. So as far as I'm concerned, if Brickset said that set X retired September 21st, 2020, that's what I strongly believe, that set retired September 21st, 2020. Also, these sets had to retire before February. Anything that was retired during the current year, I counted. I did give a grace period, and any set that retired during the month of January, I counted that too. Why didn't I count February? Well, I didn't count February because, number one, it's no longer the prior year, right? And if that set hasn't retired in January, as you know, there are sets that kind of lag, right? So if a set retires in February, it may be around in March, in April. So you may say to yourself, okay, this set isn't retiring like the retirement list said it was. I'm just going to go ahead and focus on other sets, and then that set retires, and you're like, oh, geez, I didn't think it was supposed to retire. So that's why I made that decision. I did end up pulling these lists from Brick Fanatics, mostly because it's very easy to transfer those lists from Brick Fanatics to Excel. I tried Stone Wars, it just wasn't working. Now, I want to be clear, if something is incorrect on these lists, the last thing I'm doing is blaming Brick Fanatics. I don't even plan on blaming anybody for anything in this video. Brick Fanatics, I know in 2020, I believe, they credited Stone Wars with the list, but I did not see them credit Stone Wars in 2019. They may have, but I didn't see it. So I'm not penalizing Brick Fanatics if they had anything wrong on these lists. So let's get into it, right? There were 105 sets on the 2019 retirement list. And there were a lot of sets that we said goodbye to that year. I kind of wish that we didn't say goodbye to the U.S. Capitol. I would have loved to have bought another 200 of them. And there's other sets that were, even more popular than the U.S. Capitol that we had to go ahead and say goodbye to. Now, out of those 105 sets that were retiring, there were 18 on the U.S. side that just wasn't accurate. 18 of those sets did not retire, which led to an accuracy score for 2019 of 83%. There were some sets that did retire in February, so for those of you that are interested, if you were going to also include the sets that retired in February, you would have an accuracy percentage of 86%. And something that I forgot to mention at the beginning, which I think is important, the 2019 retirement list came out towards the end of October. There were some websites that had these lists posted on October 29th. There were others that had these lists posted on October 30th, which I think is pretty important because you would think that the closer you get towards the end of the year, the more accurate the list is. When I know for myself, whenever the last year's retirement list came out, I think it was around August or September. That was really early, and I said to myself, how accurate can this list actually be, right? And I don't want to forget about our UK and German friends overseas. Now, they had 18 sets that were inaccurate too. They were different sets. There were some sets that were the same as the US, but it wasn't across the board at all. You know, the 18 sets that were not accurate for the United States were the same 18 sets that were not accurate for UK and Germany. That just wasn't the case. If you recall, for 2019, I said there was 105 sets that were listed to retire. Well, in 2020, there was 178 sets, which is much more than the prior year. And also, there was another category where Brick Fanatics reported that there was a list of 2020 possible. So they were pretty confident that the list that they put out was going to retire. And then there was a probable category as well. And we'll go over that probable category too. So again, there were 18 sets that were not accurate that were on the list. There was a set that was on Brick Fanatics' website on the retirement list that was set number 31103, the Red Rotors. Now, that set does not exist at all. There is a Red Rotors set, but it has a different set number. I'm trying to remember. I believe instead of it being 31103, I believe it was 31003. But that's a set that retired sometime around 2014, 2015. So there was an error there, and I went ahead and I took that out of my calculations. Now you can see this was a list that was released much earlier in the year. I believe it was August, September. It might have even have been July. I remember it was super early. And you would think that this list would not be as accurate, but it appears to be more accurate than the list that came out the prior year in October. Now again, I don't want to forget our UK and Germany friends. They had an accuracy of 96, which was pretty good. Now let's talk about the probable list that was on Brick Fanatics for the year 2020. The probability of those sets retiring for the United States, that was a huge hit, and it was mostly because none of the dots sets that was listed to retire actually retired. That whole theme stuck around. So it was only 61% accuracy for the United States. UK and Germany did not have that problem, and because of that, that was an accuracy score of 79%. Now, just to recap, for 2019, there was only 83% accuracy on the list, and there were not as many sets as there were in 2020. When 2020 came around, the list was 90% accurate, and for that short list of probable sets that were going to retire in 2020, it wasn't even close. If I had to give a letter score, I would give an F for the United States. I would probably give a C minus for the accuracy when it comes to UK and Germany. But here's the thing, man. Everybody's been asking about how accurate these lists are. This is not something I plan on doing every year. I do see myself doing this every other year where I'll knock out 2 years in a row. But I don't know about you. I feel a little bit more confident on these lists than I did before I tabulated all these results. And that is definitely going to affect my buying in the future. That's it, my friends. I really hope you enjoyed the video this time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, I'm Jim with BrickBucks.net. Always go out there and get it.